Emily, thank you for doing this interview with me. First, I got to say, how's your day been here in Toronto? Because I know you've been running around doing a lot of interviews.
My day is great. We've been, yeah, I've had two before this, and happy to be here. Happy to be outside.
Yeah, this is nice. I mean, Toronto's been kind of crazy with the weather and everything else, but I'll tell you something. You brought in great weather. You brought in great music. You brought in great energy. I got to say, congratulations on the career. How does it feel being part of this music industry where there are so many young artists like yourselves who are really taking up that point where the next generation is stepping up?
Oh, I mean, I'm pumped. I'm pumped about what my friends are making. I'm pumped about what's coming next. But no, I feel like music is something that's very accessible right now. You know, you can make a song and put it on YouTube at the end of the day. And there's so many programs that young people can use, and there's a lot of access to it, and a lot of platforms that are just giving away music or just streaming music. You know, it's. I don't know if I'm in it so I notice it, or if it's just music's taking over the world.
Well, you know what? The music makes the world beautiful. You definitely are part of doing that too. I want to talk about Arrows. I want to talk about the new EP. But first, I want to talk about your career because the things I've been reading up on, you never know what's what and whatever else. Because it talked about how you wanted to be an actress first or something like that. Like, give me the lowdown exactly what was going on.
So I thought I was going to be an actor for the rest of my life. I went to theater school, but I spent all my time at theater school writing songs and singing. And at school, they said, we're trying to get you to act like you can sing. And
What? That makes sense.
to me, it kind of does. It's sort of this openness or vulnerability or some sort of thing that was working while singing, but wasn't quite getting there acting. So yeah. Where were we?
Well, you just kind of mentioned the fact that, you know, the acting, singing kind of was meshing together, but somehow the singing kind of rose out of the ground and bloomed. How did that happen?
Yeah, so after writing songs, I wanted to play shows. And so I stopped auditioning and just kept booking more shows. And I loved the control of it. Like, I had to wait for the call or wait for the audition. And with music, I could really create a song, build a set, and go play a show. And I could book them, and and it just seemed to flow. And I didn't have to wait.
Now, what part of Canada were you doing this at the time?
Vancouver, Canada. Yeah.
What's the music scene like going on there when all this was going on with you?
I was playing really small venues, so I was mostly like cafes, wine bars, and small festivals. So I wasn't so much plugged into like Biltmore or Cobalt or things that I'm gunning for now and playing now. But it was great. I mean, they were like the starting shows, grassroots, and 5 people there. And like, yeah, no, it was good.
And people should realize you can put in the same energy with 5 people to 1,000 people. It's the enjoyment of music that's inside of you.
Yeah, and some of those connections from those really small rooms or playing the airport, I've randomly played a bunch of airports. Those connections have lasted years, and they still come. Or like I'll be in Edmonton, and people I met at the airport will come to a show. And it's like, it's just connection. It's all connection.
Growing up, what kind of music were you listening to? Who were the artists that would you say was influencing you?
I think, well, okay. My dad played a lot of Neil Young, Paul Simon. I loved Joni Mitchell.
Funny you say that because I can hear that Joni Mitchell inside of you.
Okay, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that'd be a compliment. But in terms of like pop, I loved Mariah Carey. I loved like Bewitched when I was young. Like, I was definitely into a pop thing too as a small person.
So, as you were talking about when you were, if I can call it acting school,
Yeah.
what kind of songs are you writing then?
Oh, definitely more of folky, tons of imagery. I think I was more in like a Joni phase at that point. So a lot of imagery and things just left of what I was trying to say, or a lot of implications and wispier, more whimsical writing. I think I've honed it in a little bit.
Okay, because we want to because we're reaching over to this point here. What would you call your style now, from everything that you've gone through and this focus to this point right now? What would you describe it as?
I would call it mellow electro pop. Yeah, it sits just off of pop music. It's similar structure, but not so much similar lyrics or melodies, or they're not typical, I guess, of what you hear on the radio. I think they're a little bit off.
Is the reason why is because, and I feel like it gives you more of an art sense than just the beats alone.
I think so, yeah. And I always have a story. I can never make anything up. It's like something I literally cannot do it. So it's got to be a story that's happened or is happening. So I think there's that too. It can't just be, oh, this is catchy, let's make up a story. So I think that's maybe what you're hearing too.
Okay, now before we get into Arrows, so I just want to make sure I have this right. Do you have the story first and then the music follows, or can it be the other way around?
Oh, it's definitely story first. Yeah. We were talking earlier. It's usually 10-second moments. It's like something clicks and I can hear usually a first line and then we're off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to Arrows then. Give me the story first before everything else started to follow along.
Okay, so I wrote Arrows in between classes at university. I sat down at a piano and I had the first verse. And then I was late for class. I ran into my class, but I'm like, I got this song. And then after class, went back to writing it. But I showed one of the producers at 604, and I had a verse and a pre-chorus. And instantly he was like, yep, let's go. We're doing this one. And we pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. We wrote a few different choruses for it, and finally came out with the one that's here now. And yeah, it's really about sort of like a quit your job and do whatever you want with your life anthem. Like, stop living by the rules because there aren't any. And yeah, basically like a don't wait.
Do you know how important that song is right now for people? Because people right now either feel like they're locked, either they feel they're way too comfortable in what they're doing, and they're afraid of taking those steps. Is that song sort of like going, take that chance?
No, definitely. It's like, go, please go. And since writing the song and since like giving up the things that I held on to, like my place and my car and my job and things that I like were structuring my life, there's a whole new like aliveness has come out, and weirder this and weirder that, and oh, okay, I'll go do that. Oh yeah, I'll travel there now. It's like as soon as you dip your toe, you're just like swimming. It's kind of addicting in the most beautiful way.
What about the rest of the EP? What is that going to be all about?
So it's kind of a mix. Some of them are a bit darker, touching on like a little bit haunting even.
Sorry, the EP is called?
Electric Heart. Yeah, which is the same sort of thing, like coming alive again. And it's like you're feeling it very strong. But yeah, there's one heartbreaker on there. It's called Burn. It's the slowest, most mellow track. It's one of my favorites. It's about a 7-year thing that didn't quite work out.
Are we speaking from experience or just somebody we know?
We just know. We just know this person wearing purple. Yeah, no, it was one of the most heartbreaking moments of my life, for sure. And this song came out of it. And
I think it's incredible that you would share that with people. And I have to assume the reaction back from folks are like, thank you for letting me know it's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've had a few responses to that song in particular, and it's it just sort of seeps. It's real slow, real mellow, but I think could do a little therapy if anyone needs it. It might help. I don't know.
You know what would help with therapy? If you tour and start hitting some of the cities, and especially coming back to Toronto. What do you think is going to happen for the rest of the summer, fall, next year? Can we get you back here? Could there be a Canadian tour?
Yeah, I think I'm hoping. I'm off to write a bunch of songs, which is...
You're never going to stop, are you?
No, that's my favorite thing. So I'm off to write a bunch of songs, and then I hope to tour the next project. I did a small tour in the summer. I love Toronto. I'm coming back. I'm writing with a guy named Latch from here, and it is going so well. So I'd love to write more with him and anybody else. But yeah, I'd love to come back and play too. I want to rock out.
Fantastic. Look, before we go, I'm going to let you play doctor with everybody. So, what advice can you give folks who feel like they're trapped, stuck, whatever? They're not seeing the light. They're not seeing the sunshine. What advice can you give them so hopefully they can follow that path also?
I think to take the smallest steps that this the biggest step you can take at this moment. So if it's like taking yourself out for a cup of coffee or like one thing you really like to do, in a sense taking your life back. And if it needs to be in a small way, then let it be a small way. Wear your favorite socks today.
I like that. Baby steps.
Baby steps.
Website, Twitter, all that stuff. Where do we go to follow you?
Yeah, it's all under Emily Road, EMILYROWED, like I rowed a boat. But I have all the things, and music's all online, and I'm coming back to Toronto, so let's hang out.
You're damn right you're coming back to Toronto, because if not, we're coming out to look for you, because we know we'll find you. Well, then again, you're always late for school or everything. Thank you so much for this interview, but more importantly, thank you for the great music.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.